Paul Michael Glaser played the naughty detective Starsky. He wore skinny jeans and became a sex icon in the 1970s. After that, his life fell apart. His wife got HIV from giving her blood. She gave the disease to their 2 kids. He left Hollywood after seeing his 7-year-old daughter and 47-year-old wife die. At 82 years old, he doesn't look anything like the star you know. His face shows that he lived through hell. He still acts sometimes, but his fans are shocked by what he's doing with his art now. Paul, he was born in Cambridge, Massachusetts, on March 25, 1943. His father Samuel was a respected engineer who, from 1946 to 1952, not only designed homes but also fixed up Boston's old synagogues while World War II was still going on. His mother, Dorothy, was born in Russia to parents who moved there. In the past, she had been in small theater productions, and they had over 200 great plays on a shelf. Their house on Brattle Street, which was only a short walk from Harvard, was full of book discussions and dinner talks with teachers. It was a house made from thoughts and young people. For Paul, it was all taking it all in. Paul's older sister Priscilla got him into playing without him knowing it. Paul was only 8 years old when she played the lead in The Crucible in 1951. She practiced her lines all the time, and even though Paul found it annoying at first, he started to remember them too. He gave a dramatic speech from the play in front of their dog one night, and Priscilla caught him. She stopped making fun of him and started helping him act. She worked with him backstage and guided him every Sunday. As a teen, Paul had already helped with props, called players, and watched dozens of plays from the back of the stage. For 3 years after Priscilla's death in 1990, Paul didn't act. She had been his first master. Paul's training as a Jew also had a big impact on his growth. He went to Temple, Beth Shalom 3 times a week until he turned 16. Their violinist Grandpa Ira, who had left Russia in 1911, lived with them and played sad folk music. His father held debates every Friday night, where Paul had to defend how he read the Torah. Paul didn't just read at his bar mitzvah in 1956. Instead, he put on a 12-minute play with actors and set design. The rabbi told the people in the church to remember that moment when Paul wasn't just reading stories. He brought them to life. Paul went on stage for real in high school. In 1958, he played George in the movie Our Town. A well-known director was in the crowd and left a note complimenting the tall and tense young man. People were moved to tears when Paul played Biff in Death of a Salesman when he was a junior. Behind the scenes, he worked out hard, spending 37 weekends learning how to fight on stage. He played Hamlet for his final project and even learned the whole play by heart. The school put on 5 nights of shows, and all of them were sold out. A local newspaper said Paul had something that even experienced players find hard to find: control and being honest. Paul went south in 1961 to go to Tulane University. It was very different from smart Cambridge. That's what he did at first, just English books. But then something changed. He did a reading of poems, and famous theater teacher Alvina Krauss saw him. She offered to coach him every Tuesday at 5:30 a.m. She kept writing him letters and giving him advice after she left. Paul studied both theater and English and worked as a study assistant for a professor who found links between Shakespeare and modern acting. Paul studied texts from the 1600s for 26 weekends. That no other undergrad had ever done before, but his senior thesis was so good that it was published in a top drama magazine. Next to Tulane in 1967, Paul graduated from Boston University with a master's degree in acting and directing. At the time, there was a creative boom in theater, and Paul soaked up everything from classics to new plays to intense stage work. He did 5 summers of repertory theater, switching roles every night. He worked at Tufts Williamstown and got hurt backstage, which put him in the hospital for 6 weeks. He had big parts like Russ Kalnikoff in Crime and Punishment and Thomas in The Ladies Not for Burning, which he later said was his favorite movie. During a bad show one night, he told himself that every show should be like a practice. His mind set him free, but life wasn't easy. In New York, he worked as a waiter and bartender to make ends meet. He lived in small flats with other people, ate scraps, and just barely made it. When he tried to join the Actors Union in 1968, he found that another character already had his name on file. He had to use the name Michael Glaser until that actor died in 1973. Then he could officially go by the name Paul. Michael Glaser in 1968. A play called The Man in the Glass Booth opened on Broadway and became his big break. Harold Pinter directed it, and Donald Pleasance played the lead role. Paul wasn't the star, but he did well. He learned how to use silence, tension, and restraint, which became the building blocks of his playing style. Then came Butterflies Are Free in 1969, where Paul played Ralph Austin. The show was put on more than 1,100 times. It worked out great. Blee Danner, who played his co-star, even won a Tony. Paul got calls from Hollywood after this victory. Love Is a Many-Splendored Thing was Michael Glaser's first big break. It was a daily soap opera that ran on CBS from 1967 to 1973, but Glaser started working on it in 1969. He played Dr. Peter Chernak, a strange and rebellious doctor who slept in his lab, cooked sausages over a Bunsen burner, and slept with nurses. It was a crazy part. The show used to be about interracial marriage, but network monitors didn't like that. The original writer, Na Phillips, quit because of the problems. People only know of 7 full shows because CBS erased many tapes to use them again. After years of working on stages, Glaser's first job on TV was on this soap opera. It gave him training, exposure, and money. Then, in 1971, he got his first movie part as Peric in Fiddler on the Roof. It was the biggest movie of the year, making $83.3 million around the world on a budget of $9 million. It was nominated for 8 Oscars and won 3. The Israeli actor Ai Dien was meant to play Glaser, but he had to be replaced because he had trouble with English. Pershik was a student rebel who falls in love with Tivia's daughter Hodel while they are both in school. English and Croatia were used to make the movie. There was a song Glaser made for the movie Any Day Now that wasn't in the final cut, but it was later included in a new version. People in the business took notice of him because of this part. After that success, Glaser did a number of guest roles on hit TV shows from 1972 to 1974. He wasn't just a TV guy anymore. He showed up at Canon KJAC How the Streets of San Francisco Looked, The Rockford Files, and The Sixth Sense in 1973. On The Waltons, he played a pilot named Todd Cooper who was having trouble and had to make an emergency landing on Walton's Mountain. The woman he played was pregnant, and he was afraid of having a child. All of these jobs kept him in the public eye and helped him get better. He was living with his dog Max in a one-room shack in the Hollywood Hills at that time. That's where he made it through the hard times of being an actress trying to get his big break. Around the same time, he got a part in the 1972 movie Butterflies Are Free under the name Michael Glaser. A figure named Ralph was played by him. This was interesting because Glaser had played the same part on Broadway from 1968 to 1969. Goldie Hawn played the lead role in the movie, which won Eileen Heckart an Oscar. It was about a blind man who moves out on his own and falls in love. Glaser learned a lot about how to change how to act for the camera by playing the part on stage and in movies. It was another step in his development as an actress. Glaser was ready for more by 1974. He got the lead part in a TV movie based on a true story called Trapped Beneath the Sea.